Anything further, Councilor Flaherty?
Motion to suspend rules to add a motion that couldn't be put in a timely manner.
Second.
Unless it's an emergency basis, it
Wasn't-
can't be suspended or added. Not with the
New rule says reasonably anticipated.
in an emergency basis. I mean, is it a motion that can't wait for 2 weeks?
Yes.
Let's hear it.
Okay, you need to explain why.
It's been duly seconded. Let's debate.
I second it.
Okay, I'll give you some information, but I really feel like we were completely misled when it comes to the school department raises and things, and the $700,000 that we voted on. The union contract is online right now, and it was not as we were presented. It was presented as one furlough day, giving up of professional development, and consolidating payroll. And they completely forgot to mention that in this part of this arrangement, they gave everybody a $900 bonus at step 14 and a $500 step bonus pay for every year after year 15. That's a significant amount of money that completely changes the financial information we were given. We were provided with information that made it sound like it was a sacrifice for the teachers to give up one furlough day, and we accepted that when we gave them $700,000. In reality, that little one line item that they didn't mention to us or didn't put in the paper or haven't released to the public is going to cost us over $8,400 per person over the life of this agreement to get a $300 furlough day. So one day for $300 is going to cost us $8,400 in payback. And that doesn't include the buyback of the furlough day, which is at least $1,500 on average. So that $300 day, when we buy it back 10 years later, is going to cost us $1,500. They didn't tell us that in order to entice the union to do this, that they were going to increase the steps from step 14 on for the life of this contract and for the life of that employee. That's going to be many, many...
Explain to me, the question was, why is it an emergency that needs to be suspended?
This contract hasn't been signed. The contract is in a state of flux right now. It has to be approved by the school department. That has to be done later this month, and then it will be signed. But they have completely misrepresented...
We meet again in 2 weeks, and I can't suspend the rules to put something on the agenda now. Why wasn't it on the agenda to begin with this?
They didn't find out until yesterday. And also, they've been promoting the number of $570,000 as give back. Superintendent of schools today sent me an email that says the real number is $374,000 give back, and that includes $300 professional development. That doesn't include this $8,400 per person. So the real numbers are very, very misleading. I think we made a decision with wrong information yet again, and I think we need to really investigate it very quickly before this thing gets signed and executed.
Councilor Miller?
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't know. My only problem with it, believe me, I know that we have a fiduciary responsibility to the bottom line of what it is that we do here, but there is no official role for us to play in the collective bargaining process. I don't know what our involvement necessarily puts forward. The appropriations have already been made. That's really what our vote is on the collective bargaining agreement, is the appropriation. While I mean, it may or may not, it may have been more helpful to know that this was part of the agreement at the time when we made that vote. At this point in time, there really is no role for the City Council in this.
I think we can rescind the $700,000 by action, and I think that's an appropriate thing to do, given that we were lied and misled too.
Councilor Arnold,
Thank you, Mr. President. The council's job is to pass a bottom line number for the school department. Once the school department has that money, if they want to take the entire $51 million and give it to the superintendent as salary, that's their decision. Whether or not they came back to us and said, this is the deal, and then the deal's something else, or whether the deal is exactly what they tell us, is not germane. Once we give them the money, once that money is allocated for the school department, it's their decision what to do with it. That's why we have an elected school committee. It's their job to set the school budget. It's their job to determine how the money is spent. We give them the bottom line. That's it. I don't see why this is an emergency, and I'm going to vote no if it comes to a vote.
Councilor O'Connell?
Thank you, Mr. President. I think it's an emergency from what I'm hearing, because the school committee is going to vote on this matter, if what I'm hearing is correct, before the end of the month. I think we should transfer Councilor to my right's motion into an invitation to representatives of the school committee to come next meeting and explain to us And we all understand we can't control this, but explain to us what this is all about. We all voted on this budgetary matter. It was a big hubbub. We all voted on it in good faith, and this is a big surprise. If you've seen the figures as laid out, it's rather shocking. So with the fact in mind that we cannot control this, I would like to extend an invitation to representatives of the school committee to come in and enlighten us as to this recent event. And I think it is an emergency because our meeting is in 2 weeks. The school committee is going to be voting on this before the end of the month. And if there's any question, I think maybe we should ask our city solicitor for an opinion.
Well,
Mr. President, can we vote?
Yeah, can we?
yeah, but in closing, I don't think an invitation to the city council
School
for the
committee.
school committee here. I think what should happen is that those members of the city council that want to address this go to where the thing goes. The school committee has the authority to do what we're doing. Them coming here doesn't do us any good. Us going there is what has to happen. So I'm going to take.
I'm going to go there, but I'm.
Everything put onto this agenda tonight is not relevant. So I'll
I'll
take
bring it back next
a
time.
roll call vote to suspend the rules.
Yeah,
Mr.
Mr. President, if I may, I think the counselor to my right meant, can we vote as in, can all of you who have a conflict vote? That's what we were discussing over here. Are we at that level? I don't know.
Can I have a roll call vote on the suspending of the rules to begin with?
Mr. President, I would like a legal opinion from our city solicitor whether we can suspend the rules.
Well, if we can or can't, a vote will tell us. And I'm asking for a roll call vote to suspend the rules.
Don't you think we should have an idea whether we can or can't?
Can we request to suspend the rules? We can. So can I now have a roll call vote to suspend the rules?
Brown? Yes. Crean?
No.
Flaherty?
Yes.
Keefe?
No.
Miller? No. Morganelli?
Yes.
O'Connell?
Yes.
Onifrey? No. Sullivan?
No.
Tracy? Yes. Andrus? No. Bean? No. Beltrandy?
He left for a family emergency.
Yeah, emergency call here.
All right, so we have 1, 2,
Put it on the next agenda.
4, 5 yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 no.
So the motion fails.
Motion to adjourn?
All in favor?
I'll put it on next week's.